These guys are, I think, Hagel says that America is, or agrees with the statement that America is a bully. Brennan is in a different category entirely. They're all anti-Western, I think American soldier, and they're anti-Israel. But you have Brennan now. Will you vote against Brennan? Because Brennan is not just about drone strikes. That's a very big deal. But Brennan he's in charge of the CIA, and I mean he's a disturbing individual to have on any team.
See, I think the leverage of the filibuster with this is what I'm using to try to get the White House to admit publicly. And if they do admit publicly that they will not and do not claim the authority to do drone strikes in America, basically I will have created a precedent. Even though it's not a law, it'll have been a president admitting that he doesn't have authority. And no president, Republican or Democrat, likes to ever admit that they don't have the authority. Some of this came out of the Bush administration. They said that they had inherent powers to do pretty much what they wanted during war. And this was what was disturbing about Brennan, saying that he has no geographical limitation to his drone strikes. That's why we then ask, well, if you have no geographical limitation, what about Seattle or Houston? And so I think the point is, and everybody can have a different opinion, and I don't know that there's necessarily a right or wrong. For example, we have district judges that we have to nominate. Sometimes they go 100 to nothing. Often they're 99 to nothing. And people don't oppose them, even though they know the president's appointing people we disagree with. They've just made the decision that there's a certain level you have to rise to stop these people. And then some people have different criteria when it's looking at circuit court judges or Supreme Court judges, because they're higher positions and they're lifetime positions. So it's hard to have an absolute standard for how you judge people on nominations, but I have a lower standard for temporary political cabinet members than I do for lifelong
Do you ever look at the? Can you explain the standard that you hold for those offices? Because those are temporary and they are presidentially appointed, but they're pretty huge positions and really affect our foreign policy. And so, do you have a different standard for those guys, or what is your standard on that? And do you ever look at the whole picture of what the team he's assembling? It's a disturbing team. Yeah,
I do. The thing is that I don't think ever in the history of our country have we been denying cabinet members. So there really isn't a precedent. There may have been one or two in our history who have been denied. And so I think the bar for who you're going to deny. Also, the shoe will be on the other foot someday. We're going to have a Republican president, and do we want every one of the cabinet members to be filibustered on our side?
If the radicals, yeah. I mean, you talk about the, yes.
Anti-American Marxist or anti-Western radicals, yes.
But to them, when there's a Republican president who appoints people who believe in the Constitution, who are strict constructionists, they're going to call that radical.
Well, I will tell you, they already do. I mean, look, Rand, I really, really respect you, and I respect the way you read the Constitution and look at the Constitution, follow the Constitution. Nobody's doing that. And I'm just frustrated, so I don't mean any disrespect here. I'm a little frustrated because
I think it can be an honest disagreement, because to tell you the truth, I struggle with what the standard is for making the votes on these, and I'm trying to have a consistent standard, and that's why
I know.
In voting for Kerry, I think that there's really two ways to look at this. It's either a no on all of these, or once you begin a yes process, it's a yes on all of these.
So you're saying then that you will?
I don't know.
Wait. You're saying then you will vote for Brennan if he gets there?
It depends on, I'm going to do everything I can to stop him until we get a public pronouncement from the White House saying they won't kill Americans on American soil without judicial review.
And Senator Paul, you seem to be subscribing to the thought process that because the Constitution allows him to pick his cabinet,
it is advise and consent.
But also, however, the Senate has the right not to approve the guy too. So that too is constitutional. So why not exercise that right and stop these guys?
As a practical matter, we have 45 votes, and we get 41 to filibuster. So we try to get together a group to stop with Brennan, see, because people are demoralized, and I think the other thing that's important for people to realize, the most important vote was the filibuster vote. Once 14 people, and really see the question needs to be asked not to the 4 of us who voted on final passage, but to the 14 who bailed on the filibuster, who voted with us on the first filibuster, but then bailed on the second.
Why did they bail?
Once that was over, then the fight was done for. But it's the same on Brennan. I'm not going to get 41 to filibuster him. It's going to be me and a handful of others. But fortunately with Brennan, I have Democrats on the Intelligence Committee who are concerned about civil liberties too. And so I think we have a chance of stopping. So a lot of the nomination thing is a fight for information, a fight for concessions and public concessions, knowing ultimately that we cannot defeat any of his nominees. They have 55 votes, and there is no nominee that is going to be defeated.